Hi friends, welcome to my space. My name is Ashley. In this space, I am practicing a teacher in training and listening to my teacher today. She was talking about if you are going to teach something, it's important that you want to be learning it, something that you want to study. And it wasn't that hard for me to think about it and realize that that is true. That is the direction that it should go. Because another thing she pointed out is when you articulate something, it's yours. You've contemplated it and was able to understand it enough to try to help somebody else understand it. When I went searching for the truth, which is one of the things that I'm trying to learn for myself, I went through A Course in Miracles a long time ago in different systems to find their truth. And now I love connecting the thread between all the systems and philosophies and religions. But when I went looking for the truth, A Course in Miracles said something along the lines of, you can't have something unless you give it away. So it makes sense that you have to become a teacher and share the concepts in order to make them your own. Another thing that I'm trying to learn about right now is time. Time, the relationship I have with it, how I use it, how I can be flexible with it, really the idea of like bending it. If my relationship is more time exchanged for pleasure or pain, what does that look like? And where does my idea of it come from? And how can I reconstruct it and recreate a new one? So thinking about different systems that I found when I was interested in finding the truth, Fourth Way ended up being one of my favorite ones, one that I kept and studied one of the longest of all of them, and still dabble in lots of them, like yoga philosophy. And I enjoy the idea right now of learning more about Tantra and erotic practices. And the truth is that all of those have a way of reflecting back to you. Self-observation, if anything, would be a sort of pursuit or experiment on finding the truth about yourself. Washing down all the programming that you've been giving and getting to the raw essence of who you are. Fourth Way uses analogies like we have, it's not an analogy really, it's a truth that we have this personality side of us and we have the essence side of us. And even if you just understand that basic truth, that you have this two ways of showing up in the world to different people, then the truth you could see, the objective truth is, or the question for the objective truth is, who are you really? And this is a question that that's one of the biggest questions I want to learn is, who am I? But that's also the truth. And thinking about what drives me to do any kind of study and what drives me to teach anything is the question of, who am I? And I need to know the truth. I need to know the truth. And if I never find it, I just need to know that I pursued it. And maybe that's your thing too. Like, a question came to me recently of, what is this world missing and what can I offer in a humble way that I was looking for? And it's not that it's not on the internet or wherever it's not. It's this way that I study things is very like, I like variety. And so I was reading a book the other day and it said he was doing short studies. That makes sense. I love learning multiple things and mentioning that the thread of truth goes between all of them. I think it's wonderful, and everybody's personality is different, and maybe you just really stick to one of them and dedicate it. But that's not my thing. My truth is I like variety. And my other truth when it comes to time is that's what I like time for, to have variety. And I think about self-observation and the value that it gives to me is collapsing time. I realize everybody is living their own life. I haven't seen enough of them to believe that theirs is going to be the right way, different and better for me. And that's my truth. Through finding things out truly about myself, asking myself, do I really want to be in this job? Do I really want to live here? And then really asking the hard questions. Looking for truth is not easy. And then when you have even more of like an objective way to look at truth of like, Fourth Way uses, we are a micro universe. There's a macro universe, which is nature outside of us. And the two work identically. Like, atoms, molecules, carbon, everything is the same, but we are just inside of this with a consciousness. What is consciousness? I want to know the truth about that. I want to know. I want answers. I want to experience it and then not have any words to talk about it. Truth was a funny thing for me to even begin to want to research, or I started asking really hard questions to my clients. I worked behind the chair for 17 years. And being in that intimate experience of them sharing their truth with me and me sharing my truth with them, it's so as below as is above. We are all one. So this idea that I'm searching for truth is really just searching for, like, which ocean am I a wave in? You know, which community do I feel connected to? And it's the whole damn world. It's the trees, it's everything. So coming from that point of view of truth, it expands time too. So like you said to yourself before, oh, that was the longest minute of my life, or, you know, time flies when you're having fun. And how we even use our words with our relationship with time and with truth. We even kind of joke, we lie and we joke, and we waste our time. I mean, this is me. I do these things too. You know, it's a funny thing when you do self-observation, since I said lie at all, is fourth way really helps to bring in things, and you could add grace to it, even though it doesn't necessarily bring it to that point at all, but it brings you to the point where you can say, I do kind of lie to myself. I do say, like, oh yeah, I work out, and I haven't been to Pilates in 13 weeks. You know, so like, do you really work out? Or like, do you eat healthy? You know, you catch yourself being like exaggerated, or, you know, elaborating, or just lying. So what is your truth? When you do think about your feelings and how you feel about your life situations or repressing them, what is the truth there? That's something that I think that multiple systems that I've studied have been able to bring to light. If you can look at yourself in an objective self-observation, and there's really great ways in the fourth way where it helps you see these truths, and with no shame, just see them. And then you could be like, oh, I didn't realize I was under this definitely mechanical programming that I was given to by society. And actually, when I'm really questioning, do I believe this? I don't. And then that becomes your truth. And you don't have to really make a big deal that you didn't believe the right thing for yourself for a long time. You could just correct it. It's self-correcting, and truth is correcting. There's not any really thing to hide about it. And so if you can look at everything from a perspective of truth, right? Like, one of my favorite analogies is you look above the number 6 written on the ground, and if you're standing there, it's a 6 from one side and a 9 on the other, but the truth is that above it, it's both. And so to look at everything in life from that reality is, well, definitely reality. It's your reality. It doesn't change just because it's subjectively the way you see it. So seeing different things in your life that you're subjectively putting your one limited truth on, I mean, honey, there's half of your behavioral life experience challenges. And so collapse time, see it a lot quicker, and get to the point of where you can have an experience in life that is coming from truth. I could say, like, right now, being in this space, creating videos and trying to be a teacher in training, it's terrifying. The truth is, this is scary to me. And when I think about why I would even want to learn anything about time, and truth, this is hard. And it brings out something inside of you. But also, it feels relieving to do it and get it out. I've been piling it up inside of me, and it feels like the time aspect of it is, I don't know exactly what I'm doing and why. I just love this free time that I have in my life, and I love creating, and I love feeling in that sort of flow. And I know that under the pressure of time being something that you're grasping or running out of or chasing after, it doesn't feel like you're living in your truth because you're kind of just running past it a lot. So that's the truth, that this is still really challenging, and showing up in order to try to do my best to articulate something that is really challenging. This, I didn't mention the Enneagram, but this is something that inside contains a symbol that is time and truth, and finding it from an objective way, and having these sort of tools when you get to the place of you get some type of, not answer, but a door is opened and a question is asked, which I think is one of my favorite things to do, is ask questions. And that leads you to the truth. And I know that that makes so many people uncomfortable, the way that I ask questions, but I'm here as a human researcher, if I will say, behind the chair 17 years, I really more identified as that. Taking these systems and tools that I learned and applying them to the intimate relationships behind the chair really revealed a lot of truth to me. And if I'm going to live my truth and say that I want to teach these concepts, well, then it makes sense to me that the truth of when I share these videos, they can't always be good. And this particular one was really challenging to make because, or create or do whatever, because my girlfriend came in at the time and it threw me off. Like, I thought I was in a flow, and then it made me nervous because somebody saw me doing it. I'm putting it on the internet. And then the question for me has to be like, what am I doing this for? Am I doing this for approval? Am I doing this for myself? Am I doing this for one person who I thought felt like me, who was looking for information of like radically different than anything else? And here I am. And the truth is, I'm mostly doing this for myself. I am trying to break old behaviors, my own self, and find a life that feels more in flow with time. I'm trying to live my truth, that like behind the chair, I share and overshare these concepts and they need to go somewhere else so that I'm not dumping them on everybody. The truth is that these concepts and tools and methods have changed my life, and anything I thought I was going to have a life that resembled the one that I saw growing up, I just don't. And when I question all of the ways that I've been able to change every hardship in my life and see every experience as a learning point, is because I do see life as school, and we can learn every lesson and find the truth in it, and notice that your character and your behaviors right now and the relationships you have and the job and the money and all these things are because life came at you, and instead of being curious about it, you gave a fixed definition of what it is. And is it true? Is it true? And if it is true, whatever you're doing right now about it, is it serving you? And I love questions that really get down to it like that. And she also brought up another great question, the teacher I was listening to this morning. And when you are looking for truth, if that's even a value to you, and you're communicating maybe like self-deprecation or doubt or fear or something of that nature, it's either nice to ask yourself or have somebody ask you, like, dude, why do you think about yourself like that? Like, whatever it is, just in general, like what exactly is leading you to believe this, that, or the thing other about you? Whether you believe that you can't make a change, or you believe that you're stuck, or you believe that you're not good enough, unlovable. If you could get to the question of why do you think that, then that's why I think it's important to teach really big concepts like truth. And truth does have to begin with your own self-observation. And there are tools, I think, that are very helpful that are presented in a couple of things that I want to talk about. Fourth way in particular, the Enneagram. I love A Course in Miracles and Human Design and Gene Keys. So those all have a way of striking the inner chord of truth within you. And maybe even learning truth and teaching truth is really, what does it feel like? What does that chord feel like? What's the sensation of truth feel like? Thank you for being in my space. Have a happy day. Thank you for letting me articulate concept, as I am a teacher in training, and I tend to bravely step out beyond myself to share these concepts of life is school. Thank you. I hope to see you soon. Thank you for being here.